Well, good morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us today and being willing to share about all the wonderful things that are happening on set with these wonderful animals. Who do you have with you?
I have with me Blossom. She is a 2-year-old striped skunk, and she has been with us since she was just a couple of weeks old. And she's having a very playful morning, so I don't know how long she's going to want to stay out here with us today. But she is one of our little stars here.
Awesome. So you have a couple projects that are coming out in this month that the animals have participated in. So do you want to share a little bit about those?
Sure. So there's two of them coming out here right away. So one of them is coming out on April 10th. It is a documentary on PBS Nature about raptors, and that has our turkey vulture in it. So they came out from England and they videoed our turkey vulture for 3 or 4 days just doing turkey vulture stuff. So and then being that there are no turkey vultures in England, he also used all the wild turkey vultures that are in this area, and videoed all of them as well. And so he got lots of great footage, to, again, educate people about raptors and vultures and how wonderful they are. And so our girl that's in that is Buzz, the turkey vulture. And she's with us at Turtle Bay as a rescue, as most of our animals are. Somebody had shot her. And so she has a bum wing and she can never go back out. So she spends her life here with us.
Awesome. Well, that's good that she has a safe place to be for sure. How was it? How was the experience with her on that? Like, what were they? Did they ask you to have her do any special things? What was
Yeah,
the?
I mean that one they did have a lot of special stuff they wanted us to do, but what was great was that we filmed it all right here on campus. So we didn't have to take her anywhere, so she was so comfortable. So they wanted things like she has like a little partial flight, so we put her up on a little branch, maybe 5 feet, 6 feet in the air, and then fly her down to the ground so that they could get that little like gliding wings open of like a vulture landing down to a carcass. And then they had her eating, so they showed how a vulture eats. So she got to eat a rabbit, she was so happy. She got to eat a lab rabbit. Just so you know, we do everything ethically. This is a a food rabbit that we got from a company that uses them for food. So everything is done completely ethically. Just from one of our food suppliers, we feed rats and mice and things like that. So she got to have a good, really big, fun treat. And they showed how that they would do that in the wild as well. So that footage is it was wonderful. It was just natural stuff. It was just her being a turkey vulture walking around and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people may not know, but I know we've had this discussion before that what you're having them do on a set is going to be activities that they are from like are natural to them. You're is that correct? You're
That
training
is
like
correct.
yeah. So
So
you're
the only things
training.
that
Go ahead.
Sorry, there was a little delay. Yeah, so we only train our animals to do natural behavior. So for example, and this isn't one of the film things, but like, you'll see a geographic special of a fox that pounces in the snow. Well, whoever gets to actually see that? But our fox is trained to do that pounce so that people can see it. So we do only natural behaviors with our animals. And so when they're filming something like this, it was easy because they wanted them just to be natural so that they could tie that in with the wild footage they were getting, to do this documentary to really teach about them. So everything we do is just their natural behaviors, just trained. And we use choice and control training. So our animals are never forced to do anything. They have the choice to do what they want to do. So.
That's so great. So great. So the second project you have that one had Buzz in it, so solo feature there, but the next one has six animals in it, right?
6 animals. It comes out on the 12th in limited theaters, but it is nationwide, coming out on the 19th. It's called Sasquatch Sunset. It is not a documentary. It is a feature independent film The writers, directors were the Zellner brothers. It features Jesse Eisenberg and Riley Keough. And we were hired to have some of the animals in this movie. It is a comedy set out in the Redwoods. Where else would you find a Sasquatch, right? So
Right.
it was filmed out in Humboldt County. We took the animals with us out there. Our animals are all ambassadors that do outreach, so they were all very comfortable. It was very enriching. Our porcupine was in it. We let the porcupine just wander around in the redwood forest. Um, it was spectacular. It was spectacular. It was the most enriching thing. We were a little afraid though she was going to decide to try to climb one of those redwoods. We're like, let's stay on the ground. But she did great. She didn't even try to climb one of them. She just smelled a lot of the stuff. And so, yeah, we had 6 animals, and it was an amazing experience working with that crew. I was very, very impressed with the crew and how respectful they were of the animals.
And so this is not these two productions were not your entry into the film world. Like, you've been able to participate in many other projects. How is there a limit to the distance that you guys will travel with the animals? Or do you keep them in California? Do you keep them in the North State? Like, what's your parameters typically when a production reaches out and is interested in featuring one of, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of factors. Sometimes it depends on the time of year. So we do a wildlife show on grounds in the summertime. So anything that's done during our summer show season, like we did another documentary that'll be coming out that we can talk about when it comes out. Um,
Mhm.
but that was all done on grounds and done here in the summer. We can't go far. We have very strict amount of time that the animals, because they're all being used in our show, so we can't take them away to do something. So how far we can go really depends on when it is and which animals they would want. So for example, Blossom here, she is she can go pretty much anywhere. She travels very well. She's pretty much comfortable anywhere.
Are you able to kind of work with varying degrees of budget? You've mentioned, like a television show, documentary, feature film, like all of those kind of range in budget. Are you, are you open to having those conversations? And we're not going to ask what you charge on this, but are you open to those conversations for various kinds of productions?
Of course, I mean, everything's negotiable, right? Yeah.
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 Maybe talk a little bit about the process, because I know I've seen some photos from your trip on the Sasquatch Sunset, and it certainly looked like there was more than just you accompanying the animals. So how does that work? How many is it typically, like one person per animal that's going with them on set, or do you just take a helper?
Again, that's going to depend on the animal and where we are. So, um,
Yeah,
because this was, and of course that'll affect, right, prices and fees, right?
sure.
If it's one of us going with an animal versus like a crew.
That's coming to you. Yeah,
It was 3 hours away. So, if anything happened or I needed any backup, we needed any help with anything, we definitely needed more than one of us to be there. So that was a 2-person one. We did some stuff on grounds here that we actually used 3 of us, even though it was on grounds, just because of what they wanted. And then I've done things where it's just me. So it really, again, will depend on what is wanted, what's being asked. And everything we do has to, obviously, and I know the industry now is very different from, 20, 30 years ago or longer. I mean, everything has to be very natural, very comfortable for the animals. We don't promise anything with the animal. So that was one of the nicest things, that the best thing about working with the Zellner brothers was that they had like an idea of what they wanted an animal to do. And then we get out there, we're in a strange place, go to do the spot. The animal was like, nope, I'm not doing that. It was just like, they're like, nope, 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 nope. So one of the things was they wanted our badger. Um, to sit on a log. It's all he has to do is sit on a log. That's it. Simplest thing in the world. You would think, how can he not do that? But our animals are not studio animals. It's something to really remember. Our animals are education animals. And so we train our animals to stay with us at all times, with us. So they wanted him away from me, sitting on this log. And so I would sit him there and I tell him to stay. And he's like, okay, I'm all happy. I'll stay right here. And then I would walk away 20 feet and you could just see him like, where are you going? And he would just run and he would sit on my feet, literally. Like, excuse me, I don't know where we are, and I'm gonna be right here with you. And he literally wouldn't leave my feet. This is a badger. He would not leave my feet. It was pretty funny, but at the same time, I was really worried because they wanted this shot. He wasn't gonna let me be that far away from him. He wasn't. So they didn't get upset. They didn't get, anything. They were like, okay, we were going to do a wide shot. We're going to do a tight shot. So I was able to be, 4 feet from him instead of 20 feet from him. And they did a nice tight shot on him. So I don't know, that may be on the cutting room floor. We'll find out on the 19th. I haven't seen the movie. So, but it was really refreshing, that they really respected whatever the animal, the choice and control. That's what we do with our animals. We don't force them. So they went with it. And it was really, really good. And that would be what we would expect from anybody.
Yeah. What was your first experience with an animal on set? If you can talk about it.
The first one, the big one that we did was we did an episode of No New Girl with our badger. Back in 2012. So that was our first one. We had done a few small independent documentaries that honestly I never saw. One was like in France, one was in England, one was somewhere else. Like I never ended up seeing them. Don't know how they turned out. But the first one that we actually did that it was like that was the episode of New Girl with our badger. And we actually drove to LA to do that one.
Mm-hmm. And how did that go? Was that pretty like on plan with what they were looking for and what you were able to do, or was there adjustments similar to what you did in the
Well,
woods?
for that one, that one was our first one. We didn't really know everything exactly to ask for, what we could or couldn't really do or say. So it was a big learning experience for us on that set. He really just stayed in a cage for it. Um, in what was like looking like he was luggage. He was actually playing Bucky the Badger. The Wisconsin team was supposedly in town, and so he was like on a luggage rack at a hotel. So he's just in the cage, and he had to like look at the camera, which was easy for me to get him to focus and through a shoot they made it look like an air shoot, and so he went through that in his kennel. So it was pretty simple. He could have done a lot more, but at the time I didn't know again what my limits were to be able to suggest. Like he can come out, like he's trained, like he can run through that air chute. You don't have to have him in something, like doesn't have to be contained. He's safe to run through. But I didn't know really the parameters at the time. And so it was just a very different experience. I just kind of did what they told and asked me to do. That was 12 years ago. So, you grow, you learn
Yeah.
what wait for that one. It was a lot. Like they're at like 10 in the morning and they filmed us at like 11 at night. It was a very long day. Um, the the one for Sasquatch Sunset independent film, they only had so much time. It was like go, go, go. So there was a lot more movement to it. It wasn't as much sit and wait. So different experience. And we were out in the redwoods, so versus in LA. So it's very different.
Yeah, probably more comfortable for the animals to some extent, being in a natural environment versus being on studio lot.
Yeah, and they were able to do what they do. I mean, like again, we didn't have to have them contained. They were running around or doing the things that they do. And so it was, I would say that this experience was a lot more fun for the animals, because it was very enriching for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have had the privilege of being able to do some behind I call it behind the scenes encounters, but
Yeah.
I'm sure animal experiences. I don't remember what you call it. Yeah, but do you want to share about, like if
I would say
somebody
we gave you, I would say we gave, yeah, I would say what we gave you was a VIP experience, which is a little different than our general behind the scene experiences that we give with guests. So Turtle Bay Exhibition is a nonprofit educational campus. And so that, everything that we do is to go back in to help care for the animals and do educational programs for our guests and for children. And so we do 2 different behind the scenes experiences that people can pay for. And that's with our beaver timber, and also with our opossum Gucci. Gucci timber, the beaver was in a documentary that'll be coming up that we can talk about at some point when it gets released. And Gucci was in Sasquatch Sun. Have an encounter that people can actually purchase and come and interact with those animals. They're really comfortable with strangers. So we don't do anything with our animals that our animals aren't 100% comfortable from and being enriched by and actually enjoying.
Yeah, and for those that may, want to watch them but not be so up close, you have your animal show that you were talking about. And what is you said it's just during the summertime, which we're getting close to. What are the dates that runs?
So our summer show is called the Walk on the Wild Side Animal Show. It's 30 minutes. It's choreographed to music. It is fast paced. It is fun. It starts May 11th. It is 6 days a week, Tuesdays through Sundays at 11 and 12, before it gets too hot. If it hits 100, we don't do shows again, not good for the animals. So we do basically the morning shows. And then we do have programming and shows year round. They're just different, and they're not as they're a little bit more laid back, and not scripted, and so we do educational programming year round. You can always come to Turtle Bay. Our animals are on exhibit. We have wildlife woods where you can see a lot of them. We have our indoor mill building, and for film goers or film producers and makers who want to make things, we have such a variety of animals.
Is there anything else that you want to share about, Turtle Bay, any new exhibits or any, I know that there was a birthday recently. We're doing some,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yes. So Spike, our North American porcupine, who is in Sasquatch Sunset. Oh my gosh, go see it, guys. I can't wait. I can't wait. We rented out an entire auditorium for all of our people to go watch it together. Spike, the North American porcupine, just turned 21 years old. She is the oldest living female North American porcupine. It is amazing. She is wonderful. And then our beaver and our bobcat are turning 10 this year. So we're going to be having birthday parties here on campus for them. We have a wish list up on Amazon. Would love people, if they want to support the animals directly with things rather than donating money. People love to donate specific things sometimes, or maybe you have, $5 that you love to help give the animals a better life here. You can always go to our wish list and get something for them. We appreciate all donations, all time, all support, spreading the word about the animals. Our animals cannot go out in the wild, mostly because of things people did. Someone stole our raccoon from the wild, tried to keep him as a pet. Our gray fox, the same thing. The red fox was going to be euthanized. We saved him. Things like that. The opossum's mom got killed. So like our animals are here because of humans. We are so dedicated to giving them the best life that we could possibly give them. And I know it's cliche, but it does take a village, and we appreciate any support that we get from anybody and everybody. So.
Well, and it's just a testament, honestly. I mean, you and your team are incredible, but I still remember during the car fire, you bringing home all those animals to make sure. I mean, like for you, this is you know, clearly a work of heart. You know, you are so them doing well and thriving in your care is no surprise at all. So you know, and I do recall, didn't there was a recent designation that you received as well, right? For the
We did. Oh, we're so proud of it. We got an accreditation from the ZAA, the Zoological Association of America. Um, it's a long process where they come out and they inspect everything we do, our exhibits, the housing, our vet care, our programming, like our enrichment, their welfare, everything, every little thing you can think of. And we were given a ZAA accreditation. And so we're very, very proud of that. And it's really a mark to show the world that we are a good, reputable animal facility that you can trust coming here, and that we're doing good things for our animals. And it meant the world to us. Like you said, my life is these animals, and I will do anything for them. And even doing, doing the film productions, we do charge, but all that money is what goes back into their care to give them the best life. And that's what's important. That's the most important thing.
Well, on behalf of our community and all the productions that you help, I want to thank you so much, Sharon. And you've always just been a really great partner in, in showcasing the work that you do, and the animals that are in your care. And it's done, with the intent to educate and help. So I appreciate you. Our community appreciates you, and we look forward to working on more productions with you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you and all you do, and showcasing the North State. I've been here 17 years, and I can't imagine being anywhere else now. It's the most beautiful place, and the greatest weather. And so we love being here, and we love having you in the community and helping to bring more to this community. People come doing their films and using this space for things like that. So thank you.
You bet. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day, and thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Sabrina. We always appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.